Hello, and welcome to another edition of
The English Couple
And a Few Cats. Welcome to another episode. Sorry about last week's episode, which was sort of in the wrong time, but as we've explained before, it's sometimes depending on when we're here and how much we're doing and what the weather's doing, filming goes out the window. And filming's not out the window this week, so that's good news. And we're on time.
Yes. Yay. Touch wood.
It's been a very hot week. We're desperate for water. We'll tell you why a little later. You probably can guess anyway. But we've been working on the land, and of course we have some feline company this time.
Yes, all three of them are with us this time, and they have been loving it.
And also we have, thanks to Matt and Maria, we have a caravan.
Yay!
Which you'll see a little bit in the show. So we've been able to stay over a couple of nights, which is what we intend to do from time to time. We still commute, we still live in the house, but we still commute. But it does enable us to be able to come 1 or 2 nights a week and make use of the time, the light, as we've got longer evenings, and also avoid the stress of travelling. But that does mean we have to bring a few friends.
Yes, this is Amazing Amethyst, known as Maisie. I've had her since she was conceived.
And she's an elderly cat.
Yeah, elderly Moggy. 17, aren't you, baby?
And there is another 2 which you'll see in the episode. So I suppose you're probably interested to know what the hell we've been doing. So I'm calling this our spring tour, and we're going to take you round to have a look at all the things that we've been doing. And as spring is here and the sun is shining, join us as we whiz round and look at Biggleswick Farm. Maisie's joined us for our little part of the tour. So let's start with the potatoes. You would have seen, would you not, that we've weeded. We've got rid of the roots. Julia did a huge amount of weeding there, didn't you?
Oh, you did a great guns on the starting point, and it allowed me to get deeper in. So yeah, good team.
Good team. So this is just the early potatoes, and they're now springing up. They've come through. The shoots and the leaves are looking up at the sun, and there's plenty of that at the moment. So we've been getting more dung and grass mixture and building up. As they come up, we have to keep making
adding,
mounds,
adding,
which is hilarious fun. And so they're looking resplendent. But it's fast approaching the time when we've got to get the main crop in, which hopefully we'll get in within the next episode. Now I don't know when these will be ready, but they're obviously not going to be ready yet. And then we've also got to work out, hopefully there'll be quite a crop, what we do with them, because I know some people just leave them in, don't they, and grab them when they want them.
Yeah.
Others put them in a big heap and then cover them with earth, and others put them in dark areas where they're not touching, a bit like apples, I suppose. Yeah. So we've got all that to learn. We're still very much novices to all of this. But again, this is our first, well, not our first edible crop outside, because we've got the broad beans and the peas and the cabbages in the polytunnel.
And the onions.
And the onions, yes, that's true. So this is, but potatoes are the staple of most people, aren't they?
Yes, I think so.
So just to remind you, we have France's potatoes, which is this lot, and then the other one is Red Duke of York, I think. But of course they need watering, a lot of water, and it's been dry, and I think our pond is taking the hit. More about that later. But we're very pleased. And we were netting them at one time. I think we showed you that. But now I think, now we've got the plants coming up, we don't have to net them.
Yeah.
I was a bit concerned with the pheasants.
Yeah, because we thought the pheasants were roosting on it, snuggling down, because this used to be an area that they would use for that at night. So we thought they were trying to continue that, and they were nudging the potatoes around. But it's all fine, and they're all coming up. But they're not as tender and fragile now, are they?
No, they're quite robust now.
Yeah.
And also the potatoes are a little bit further in the soil because we're building it up.
Further and further all the time.
Yes, and somebody said to me, "Oh, potatoes, they're the easiest to grow." Well, fingers crossed that that's true,
Yes, we hope so.
because we have lots of vermin and lots of things that attack them, and of course there's potato blight and all those sort of things. So we're as long as we get something, it'd be lovely to have all those potato meals, all that carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the potatoes. Let's continue with the spring tour at Biggleswick Farm.
Welcome to the veg patch. There's still a lot going on and a lot not going on in here. Here we have the broad beans. We still have the few that survived from planting before winter. But all the new beans that I planted in there just a few weeks ago, either they were too old or they've all been had by voles and mice and the likes, which unfortunately we can't prevent. Not fully anyway, at the moment at least. But I'm very proud of these broad beans. The flowers on there are looking amazing. Over here we have the onions. The onions are doing delightfully. They definitely need a weeding. There's some... There was a dock in there. I think someone's been in there and got it. Well done.
I've been in there.
Marvellous.
I weeded yesterday.
You did. Well done. Oh, good. Because there was a couple of thistles in there dying too. They're gone. Nice one. We got given these St John's wort. I always say that wrong. Wort. Whatever. And that's doing really amazingly. Not quite ready to pot it on yet. But it's lovely. And over this way, we have peas in the ground again. Yay! So I've redone. It looks like it's been dug up a little bit. We've redone this bed, moved it over towards the fence line a bit, so I could have a second line here. This was old stuff that used to be around my tortoise table. An indoor enclosure for my tortoise, who is still living with my mum and dad at the minute. We will eventually move him over here, and I think, I haven't told Richard this yet, but we may be inheriting her two tortoises as well.
Oh, I see.
A retirement home for them. But
A right old mixed up farmyard.
Mixed up farmyard, yes. But they're doing marvellously. I'm really happy with that. Some of them, they'd been too long in the pot, so they're kind of root bound to each other, and I didn't want to tear them, so just encouraging one to go that way, one to go this way. It might work, it might not. Either way, I've got pea plants in the ground. Wild strawberries are doing amazingly. Absolutely loving it. I've planted a few around and about as well, and they're all coming up nicely as well. Flowers and all of that. Been tending to them, and yeah, very happy with them. Looking forward to tasting the first few delightful strawberries from these beautiful little flowers. So simple but so lovely.
Well, here we have something new and something very exciting that has arrived at Biggleswick Farm, and as you can see, it looks like some sort of interior, which it is.
Yes, something new and yet old.
We have been blessed with a gift, and we've talked about it. We've said it was coming, and here it is.
Yes, a new to us
Caravan. So we're very excited. We didn't film the arrival of it because that was
too hectic.
Too hectic. However, I think you'll agree that it's a rather lovely sized caravan.
Yes.
It's very beautiful on the inside. It's something like 30 years old. And we have Matt and Maria to thank, viewers of the channel, to thank for this wonderful little home from home.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than a gift, isn't it? I mean,
it's a massive donation.
We've got 2 new friends.
Yes, yes,
For life.
absolutely, and they're lovely dogs.
And they're lovely dogs, yes.
So this is going to be such an asset. I mean, we're still commuting to and from Biggleswick Farm, of course, but this will mean we can stay 1 or 2 nights, try and cut down that commute time.
Yeah, absolutely. Save a little bit of money on the fuel.
Yeah.
Heaven knows that's not cheap.
Not at the moment.
And also save our souls a little bit, our stresses.
Yes.
Reduce all that down. So yeah, this will be a
nice,
a wonderful
little. Also, it's a base as well. Yeah. I mean, as you know, people have called the workshop a canteen, haven't they?
Yeah, made us laugh.
Which I guess to a degree it has. But now the workshop can become its own thing and do what it's supposed to do.
I mean, even as a canteen, it still had, some of our tools and stuff in it. Just cheap ones that we didn't mind leaving in case anyone were to
come in.
You have to worry about that sort of thing.
Well, anything of value valuable, they always say don't leave it on the land because it will disappear.
No one's living here, so
that's.
I mean, we have neighbours that live here permanently, but it's not their job to look after our stuff.
No. So we stayed last night in the van as we record this, and we had our first night. What did you think?
I loved it.
It was great. I mean, we would hear all the noises around us. It did rain in the night, so we were sheltered. We were warm. We've got a few mod cons, a cooker and washing up facilities, a fridge. It is effectively off-grid because it's not connected to the mains or anything, so we're reliant on gas mostly and a 12-volt battery. So we found out things, it's going to take time to adjust, but as we say, we're not living here, so this is really a stopgap, meaning we can work longer, especially as the nights get longer.
Yes.
The evenings are bright. What am I trying to say?
The evenings are
lighter.
Yes.
Yes. So we don't have to rush off and get into that bloody rush hour that we were having to do to get home in order to cook a meal. So we can do that now. So it's been really good. Anyway, you're going to see it in the background. You'll see us in it, and we'll explain more about it as and when we're staying here. But we just wanted to introduce the fact that we now have the caravan we've been talking about behind us. I don't think you can see it very clearly in this shot. Woodhenge, the polytunnel is still on the go. A very slow process because it's actually much larger than the other one and a bigger project.
Yes, so although we've done a prototype, this one needs a little bit of redesigning.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But we're very happy. So thank you, Matt and Maria.
So very much.
Julia has cats. 3 cats. 2 of them are slightly elderly cats. They're 18, 19, something like that. 17, 18. Yeah. And one is 6. And that's Mojo, which you may or may not have seen in other videos or in other channels that I've got. But they need to come with us. They can't be left on their own. It's very unfair that they sit around all day while we're having fun. So whilst they acclimatise to the farm, and we don't want them running off and not being able to find them, because one of them's deaf, so even if she got out, they're 2 ladies, 2 old ladies and a young man. We built a cattery, and this is it. Made of pallets, as you can see. Some very simple square mesh, I suppose, which came in a roll and was wrapped around. Quite easy. I was actually quite surprised. A bit of PVC ribbed for corrugated roofing. Some old gardening gloves. They were here anyway, and a little bit of what they call CLS, just to hold it together. And it's actually on hinges, so you can lift this up, right up, prop it up or lean it against the caravan, so that you can get in and clean it if or as and when required. There is a door on the other side, so it's not really meant for them to be in it for huge amounts of time. It's just whilst they get used to the area, they can be in the caravan or they can come in here, and once they're a bit more used to the area, they can sort of roam around. So it's very nice. We've got a little door here, and we've got some black plastic down at the moment, but I'm going to put something else down for them because the plastic's probably in direct sunlight, but it isn't in direct sunlight because the caravan masks it, so they won't overheat, because I think that's something people would worry about, or if they're just stuck in the caravan, whether they'd overheat, but actually there are roof windows, skylights, which you open up. I think all caravans have that, and they seem to enjoy it. We've got a bit of furniture in there for them. They've got their water and food, so they can enjoy it, and that's the main thing. But because it's on this angle, and we have yet to test this because it hasn't rained whilst we've been here, and we're desperate for water, and that is when it rains, the rainwater will come down here. There will be a bit more extension of this, that's to come, into a gutter and then come down into a bucket. But because this is so we can collect the water, obviously, but because this is quite low, you're not going to get much water in it. So we were thinking there must be some solar panel pumps, so that when the water's in here, the pump can be in there and could pump it into an IBC or some other storage, which would have to be a bit higher, so it just needs to pump it up. So those are various considerations to think. But every flat surface, if we can collect water here, because this is all off grid, will be to our benefit, because once a pond has none in it, we are desperate to keep everything alive.
The polypotting tunnel. Welcome to this new lovely little kale, which came by post, and we had awful difficulties getting them to actually leave it in our safe spot instead of taking it back to the
depot.
That's it, depot. So it wasn't looking too great when we got hold of it eventually, but thankfully it's recovering beautifully. It's looking quite happy actually, so happy with that. Now I haven't watered in here yet today, so things might look a little bone dry, but we've got loads of lovely baby oaks coming up, keeping our promise to the mature oaks that we would secure the future for their progeny as much as we can. But the spare onions came in here and they're doing really well. Going to have issue there, got to separate them somehow up. We've got chamomile in various stages of development, doing quite well. I need to do more potting up of those. Think that's a radish, still not sure. It could be a radish like the other ones. A cabbage, that is. Loads of baby oaks. So happy they're doing well. We've been very, very graciously given by our lovely friend Sandy of the Wiltshireman YouTube channel lots of lovely little tomato plants which he had going spare. They need potting up quite desperately now. So that will be today's job. Loads more little tomatoes from Sandy. Some basil. Lovely. They all need potting up too. What's that one? Not sure. Got an extra there. That might be another tomato. Oh, I don't know. But yes, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 basils there. Marvellous. Oh, and more. 8, 9, 10, 11. Celery. Tightly packed celery. So that's going to be really awkward, but very satisfying when I can get them potted out later. Today, chard. They also need potting on. Marigold. The only 2 of the 60 plus that I planted that have come through, because every time they came through, before I could even grab them out and put them in a pot, the rodents got them. They just ate the nice soft tender heads off them. So that's fun. Cabbages are doing all right. The original cabbages sown before Christmas, sown before winter, we've been harvesting leaves off and we've been enjoying very much.
They are yummy.
Tasty. So yeah, we'll harvest that one again when it gets a bit.
Do you think we'll put them in the ground at any time?
Yeah, I don't know. Might not be
Or
worth
a bigger
putting these
pot?
ones. A bigger pot actually might be a good idea. We got another one of those over here.
It's recovering really well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing as we've taken the leaves, as you said.
Yeah. The spinach, which we also have eaten some of, It just feels so nice to go into the polytunnel, pick some stuff, and then take them into the canteen and cook them, steam them. Perfect. More chamomile, more onions. We got cauliflowers all over the place. Thankfully, some of them have survived the rodents. More chamomile. These ones still need to be potted at all and separated. Might not get round to that. And look, thank you, Sandy, so very, very much. Wiltshire man, you're a star. All these beautiful, beautiful tomato plants. I've got one problem. I might not have enough pots for all of this.
And we need more space.
And we need more space, which will lead on to that in a minute. We were also given some spare normal sized strawberry plants, so they've gone in some pots. And I've got a few more peas up in there, ready to go in the ground at some point. How are they doing? Yeah, some of those have not come on so well, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 of them are looking all right. Yeah, hopefully today or tomorrow they go in the ground. Hawthorns are doing great down here. They will go in the hedgerow soon. And they're all bunching out nicely at the bottom, so they should give good low coverage in the hedgerows. Happy with all of that.
This, well, what is it? It was for a while Woodhenge, but it's now beginning to take a bit more shape. It is, of course, our big polytunnel, and you would have seen us in previous episodes have to get rid of all the brambles. It's hard now to think that this was one massive, great big area of brambles that we had no idea what was in it and what we were going to do with it. Then we came up with the ideas we would have a polytunnel in here because the arc of the sun goes all the way around, and since removing the brambles we've been able to see and observe it. So that's where it was going to go. We then, I think in a previous episode you saw us burn the ends and put in the poles, which they're in, and now we're still nowhere near finished. Everything is a bit slow because there's so many different priorities. You think, oh, I'd get on with this, oh, I need some material, some more screws and nails or bolts or whatever, or then something else happens, we've got to go and do that first. But anyway, this is happening slowly but surely. Do come on inside, join me. So this area, I mean, you get a good perspective here of what it's going to look like through here. Now you start to see sort of the size of it. So it's still embryonic. Obviously there will be another beam here. There's going to be a very slender apex roof, so that we can capture water, so there'll be gutters either side, even though it's a polytunnel. So here is the door. There'll be door frame here. We do actually have a door that was gifted to us by a friend of ours. So you'll come in one way or another, whether the door opens in or it's outwards, we get to decide. And as you know from previous walkthroughs, you'll have a bed, a path, a central bed, a path and another bed with a couple of poles in the middle holding up the apex, the roof. And so do come on in. So it's quite a big, I mean, it's been a big undertaking. We looked at the small one and we thought we'd just replicate that, but actually trying to find something to arc over without having to go to plastics and things, which is something we didn't really want to do, was very difficult. We found that willow, when it's at the right sort of thickness, it is just not going to bend and would either snap or would put too much stress on the frame. However, once that's in, I'm just going to step behind you, don't panic. I'm going to grab something to demonstrate. The willow that we've got, it'll be slightly thicker than this. We will, on the outside, rib the structure, so there'll be ribs, not too close together. So the plastic, when it's wrapped around, we'll still do that thing where we build a trench on the outside, fill it with mud to really hold it down, but this ribbing will hold the plastic up against it. It'll probably be tucked under here in one piece, going across, and then there'll be another sheet going up over the apex and down the other side, and at the sides of these there'll be a post here, post here, post here. But it's taken a lot of work with all the old tools here, working away, drilling holes, putting in the screws, etc, etc, using the old chainsaw, which I'm still on the electric one because I need to buy a nice petrol one, and the generator. And you may notice, and I want to point this out to all our viewers because some of them have been really worried. Come with me just to this section. These very sacred plants that we have here, these are very lovely. You just put your hand on there and you get a little bit of a sting. They're commonly known as stinging nettles. And these sacred plants, you know, one shouldn't get rid of them because they're quite rare. And we're very, very lucky here that we have billions of the buggers. So some people have said, oh, don't get rid of all the stinging nettles. Have no fear, gentle viewer, if that was you. The stinging nettles are all over the place, and we have to clear some of them, obviously, and we are using them to make stinging nettle soup for the plants, to make a sort of homemade fertilizer. And I know there are recipes that you can make which make good for, you know, your own soup or salves and things like that. So don't panic, we have loads of them. So if you see us clearing them, it isn't that we are taking these very rare species and knocking them out of existence. I just wanted to point that out.
It's looking quite low. Very low. But that does give us an opportunity to drain out what's left of it elsewhere with another idea, so that we can dig it out a bit deeper, maybe dig it a bit more shallower at the edge, and try to reline it with clay again. I say try, no, we'll actually reline it with clay again. Just generally improve it. Whilst we're here, I took it upon myself to cut in some steps. So that took me a little while. Got some footage of that, might put that in. Yeah, it's doing all right. It also allows anything that falls in to be able to climb out this way. So there we go. I've enjoyed that. It's been quite good. An aquatic snail. I've seen it a couple of times floating around with its foot up to the surface. I guess it's feeding. I've only ever seen them in aquariums where they usually have the glass or the rocks to eat algae off, is what I imagined. But so yeah, that's new to me. I'll put him back in. But whilst we're on that topic of life in the pond, there's all sorts of different insect larvae in there, which is interesting. I'm hoping there's at least 1 or 2 dragonfly larvae in there, because that will be keeping the nasties at bay. But we also, I found a frog when I was in the veg patch the other day. I was just watering or something, or weeding, and I heard this thumping. I thought, what's that? It sounds like a mouse or something on the plastic. So I'm looking around, beady eyes, looking, searching, and I realised I couldn't see anything, but I could see the plastic moving. So I tore it back quickly, and there was this frog going, uh-oh. So I picked him up. Richard, look, found a frog. Let's put him in the pond then. And watch it swimming around a bit. Makes interesting eddies as it swims in the shallow water, but don't think it's in there anymore. It hung around for a bit and left, but that was fun. That was fun indeed. Maybe we'll get more later.